You are currently watching China News Central. Today's segment will include an interview of Empress Qixi and Emperor Guangxu. Before we continue, here's a little background knowledge. Empress Qixi was born in 1835 and died in 1908. Emperor Guangxu was born in 1871 and also passed away in 1908. When Qixi's son Tongzhi became emperor in 1861, Qixi was appointed as regent. But after her son's death, Qixi adopted her 4-year-old nephew, Emperor Guangxu, and appointed him as emperor, while continuing as regent. When Guangxu came of age, he took power and established many radical reforms which led to Qixi ending Guangxu's rule in a coup d'etat on September 21, 1898. The following interview of Emperor Guangxu and Empress Qixi took place a couple of weeks before the coup d'etat during the reform movement. Enjoy! China is experiencing a drastic reform. The stable system that has been around for thousands of years is being challenged by Western ideas and influences. Specifically, the education system and civil service examinations have been threatened. Here to talk about the two sides of the issue are Empress Qixi and Emperor Guangxu. First, let's start by having Empress Qixi talk about the traditional civil service exam. Hi, and thank you for having me today. The traditional civil service examinations began in the Tang Dynasty, which was around 618 to 907 AD. Citizens had to take the examinations in order to become government officials. There are 3 levels of testing: the Xuchai degree, the Juren degree, and the Jinshi degree. The Jinshi degree is the highest degree, which you need in order to become a federal official. The other degrees may allow you to become smaller officials on provincial levels. This system has provided a stability for more than 1,000 years because government officials are chosen based off of intelligence and knowledge rather than social standing. That's very interesting. So what do these examinations consist of? Well, it essentially tests you on your knowledge of the classics of Confucius as well as Confucianist values by giving you complex problems or scenarios and asking you to write essays that explain how you would handle those situations. Your response must greatly exhibit Confucian values and reference the classics in order for you to become a government official. That seems like such a great system. Why then is it such a subject of controversy? To answer that question, let's have Emperor Guangxu explain the issue. Thank you for patiently waiting, Guangxu.
No problem. An issue that many have actually had with our system is that the entire educational system in China is based off of how to succeed in the exams. The students are educated in the Confucian classics and they go on to become great writers, but the citizens don't receive an education in math or science. It's because of this that our country is not as developed as the industrial world of the West. That's why I decided to take action to reform this country through what I call the 100 Days of Reform.
What is that?
It was a reform movement that I decided to set in place on June 11th of 1898. Over the course of 100 days, I plan to establish many edicts to modernize China. So far, I have already abolished the essay component for the examination and introduced a more Western-style component that tests a student's knowledge on the actual current political and economic issues in China. I also have established an Imperial University in Peking, as well as primary and secondary schools in provinces teaching a new Western curriculum that educates children in science and technology.
But the issue with that reform system is that children are no longer taught Confucian values, which are very important to Chinese culture.
But what's the point of educating and testing children in Confucian classics to hold office if that in no way actually reflects their ability to govern?
What? Confucian classics definitely reflect one's ability to govern. Let's take one of Confucius' key values, for example. Filial piety, which is the dedication and devotion towards elders, specifically, but also dedication to the common good and dedication in everything you do. By teaching students this from a young age and eventually testing them on it in an examination, we can ensure that as government officials, they will create a political environment based on responsibility and trust.
So what? They can govern with responsibility or trust. Citizens must first off be educated in how our political and economic system actually works.
Anyone can learn how the government works, but not everyone has leadership qualities, and that's why the civil service examinations are so important, because that way we can determine who is actually fit to have these governing positions. Could you two keep the volume down just a little?
Yeah, sure. They'll be moral, but they'll make terrible mistakes because of their ignorance.
Oh, so morality is just not important at all. Yeah, okay, let's have an entire country run by people who are selfish and corrupt. Yeah, that's no big deal, as long as they're educated, right?
Okay, so since when did I ever say say that there's any
don't
link
think
between
this is
anything
okay.
about morality.
Ma'am, sir, I think we need to settle down a little bit. It seems this has gotten a little up, and we may need to continue here. I'm Matthew Day, and this has been an exclusive interview with Emperor Guangxi and Qi Xing.
We don't need to teach whatever.